Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Carm Viola. She is a registered psychotherapist and a registered early childhood educator based right here in Toronto. How are you doing today, Carm?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for being here and agreeing to be part of this community and share a bit about your story and your journey on the podcast here with me today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I need to thank you. This is so wonderful. And I love this platform that you've created for women. It's really incredible.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So how's your day going so far today?
My day has been hectic. I've already, done a group. I work with selective mute kids on Wednesday morning. So I've just completed that. I've been up since 7. So,
wow.
Get some laundry in there before I go to work.
Lots to do. Well, let's jump right in. So you're a sought-after registered psychotherapist and registered early childhood educator who has been working in children's mental health for over 30 years. Why did you decide to take the path in life of focusing on children's mental health? Can you tell us a bit about your story and journey into this field?
Sure. I think when I was thinking back at this question, I was thinking about when did this actually really start for me? And I brought myself back to like grade 12. So that's a long time ago. So grade 12, it was. I was the first cohort. This is how old I am to start co-op. So that's how old I am.
I remember co-op.
You remember co-op? Yeah. So
yeah.
I was that first class that ever got to do it. And thinking back, I was like, I think I want to do something with children. And I wasn't quite sure what it was yet at that time. So, I had this opportunity to go into a classroom in grade 12, and I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So then I went to Humber to do my ECE at the time because the registration is just new. The college is just a new entity. And so again, then it was starting to become a little bit clearer. And where was it that I wanted to land? And then through that journey, I thought, oh, maybe I want to be a teacher. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. So once I graduate, I'll just continue my education, go get my teaching degree. But then in my third semester at Humber, I did this practical work at the George Hall Center. Mm-hmm. And what a tremendous experience. It opened my eyes. I led a very sheltered bubble life in terms of coming from an immigrant family. Everybody around me was Italian, and sort of really not open to a lot of different experiences. So This was, for me, something I could have never imagined. And the work that they do with families was so beautiful. So close to graduating, I was made aware of a position that came available at the George Hall Center, and I applied, and I was hired, and I've been there ever since. So I've been there for 30 years.
Wow.
I'm old.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what is the age range of the children you work with?
So I work with kids from birth to 18. However, my specialty really is from birth to 10. Okay. But I do work with older kids more around anxiety.
Okay. What would you say is the most inspiring or rewarding part of the work that you do for you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many parts, but I think the one thing for me is really seeing the changes that children make and seeing how hard they work given their unique circumstances. That for me just blows up my heart.
I love it. That's awesome. Now, you're the co-founder of the Del Vio Parent-Child Clinic. What inspired you to go out on your own and co-found your own clinic?
This is a story in itself too. I mean, yeah. So Del Vio started, really, it came out of, I think, requests. So
Okay.
parents are on waiting lists for months and sometimes years.
Wow.
And they can't get service. So, with young children, you really can't wait that long.
Yeah,
So
of course.
like so much developmental change happens in young kids from month to month.
Mm-hmm.
So there were so many requests coming from friends and family who had friends and family who
Yeah.
had young kids, right?
Right.
And they had questions about their kids' development. So I would actually go out and offer suggestions and give them ideas of where they could access service. And I do a developmental screening, so I was offering that.
Okay.
And I wasn't charging. I was doing it for free. And then my husband said to me, hello, this is your expertise. You've got knowledge.
Why are you giving it away?
Yeah, it's so true. So then I approached my friend Maria, who's now my business partner, and I said to her, what do you think of, doing this, and what are your ideas? And then, we came up with this business plan, and that's how it started.
Wow.
Really.
Now,
So
sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so we offer like different kinds of services. We do individual work, school workshops, anxiety groups, and so much more.
Amazing. So how long has the clinic been up and running now?
So since 2006, so 14 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's that much of an overflow or weight or backup in the system that you guys have that much business to facilitate that kind of work?
Yes. We don't do it part-time. So both of us are doing it part-time.
Yeah.
But yes, there is that much work. Yes.
So where is the problem then that there's such a backup? Why is there such a backup? What's causing this?
I think funding, people, like, there's tons of service in Ontario, but it's just the wait times, right? The wait times are crazy. And like I said, like, you can't wait with little kids.
No, of course. So how do we overcome this problem? How do we fix it? How does it begin to repair even?
I think, there has to be an increased awareness.
Yeah.
And I think this flows into, understanding that we need to talk about this every day, not just on one day.
Yeah.
The
Bell Mental Health Day. Yeah. Not just one day a year.
Yeah. Which I think is starting, there's World Mental Health Day, which is October 10th. And then there's the Mental Health Week, which, in this year, 2020, it was May 4th to 10. And I think in 2021, I think it's May 16 to May 22. There are lots of people doing fundraising around mental health. And I know that might sound funny, but it's one way to kind of bring about change.
Right.
People, and I think about my parents when I first started doing this, and they would say, when people ask them, what does she do?
Yeah.
They would say, simply, she helps kids. Like, not really. And now 30 years later, they can get more detailed and labeled around, well, you know what? She provides support for kids who have anxiety, kids who have depression, kids who have selective mute skills, kids who are selective mute, and she teaches them skills. So I think that's a small change, but it's important.
Big.
Yeah,
sure.
It is big,
So,
and I also think that other ways, no,
it's okay.
That we can move away from this is that stigma.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Now, since you've been working in this field for a number of years, have you personally seen a notable shift in mental health? And I know we just talked about this little shift that you've seen, and bringing it to the forefront and getting more exposure for the issues of mental health. Since you first started in the industry to where we are now, have you seen a very notable difference in bringing it around and speaking about it more and just making people the awareness around it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I think we've moved away from institutionalizing people,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and service is now offered in communities, and it's more accessible, right? Because it's
Hmm.
where people are living as
Right.
opposed to, going out in the country or going out to, these remote places.
Hmm.
And I think the other shift that I've seen over my years is there's more of a multidisciplinary approach where you don't just have psychiatry. You've got child and youth workers, you've got social workers, you've got speech pathologists, you've got psychologists, you've got like all these people working
Hmm.
together with
Yeah.
the family to think about, and the family is at the forefront of this now, whereas before it was like what the doctor says goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The family is involved in their treatment plan. Like, what do you want to work on now? What's the best way that all these people can help you meet
Right.
your goals,
Well, I
and
think
move
that's
forward?
key. That would be key, is to have the family involvement. I mean, that's their child.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's how I've seen some major shifts.
Okay. Now, I mean, I still think that mental health awareness is nowhere near, and I'm sure you fully and wholeheartedly agree, it's nowhere near where it should be. It still doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. It's still swept under the rug like it's a dirty little secret. Would you agree with that? And what do you think? Why do you think that is, in your opinion, that it's still a shameful, as you mentioned, stigma? Why is that?
I think this is such a great question. And although I think there is an increased awareness, like you've said, I
Hmm.
do agree with you. We need to just continue to break down those barriers and let's remove the stigma like that's associated with mental illness. Like Brad, I think we're so fortunate to live in a province where we can access help. But
Yes, for
people
sure.
don't, right? People don't because they think, what are people going to say about
Yeah.
me? What are they going to think about my child? Are
Yes.
they going to make fun of me? Like, this really stops people from getting the help that they need,
That's
which
terrible.
it is. It's awful. And it makes, them reluctant to start treatment.
Hmm.
And, the other thing is they might be, their own self-image of like, does this mean that I'm weak? Does it mean
Yeah.
I'm lazy? And some people think that people with mental illness are violent. You know,
Well, sure, there are some people that are, but more often than not, that wouldn't be the case.
you're right. Most people, they struggle. They're not
Yeah.
violent, you know? And I think this continues to be the lack of understanding of what actually does that help look like? It's
Yeah.
not, and it's not all about medication,
No,
you know?
absolutely not. Why would you want to dope someone up and medicate them to a point where they don't even know who the hell they are? I don't know. I think that's the absolute wrong way
Yeah,
to go about it.
it's so true. And in fact, most of the kids I see are not medicated. Like
That's
I teach
good.
them coping strategies,
Yeah.
that become lifelong skills and hopefully continue to benefit them forever,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And I also think about what makes or can make the stigma more complicated is diagnosis, like
Okay.
whether it's schizophrenia or anxiety or a mood disorder, there's a
Hmm.
little awareness of what are these actual diagnoses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing is, barriers to, maybe your culture
Hmm.
or your
True.
religion,
Yeah,
you know,
very true.
or
Yeah, because like you
finance.
said, we're lucky here in Canada where we have access to
Mhm.
um, healthcare and resources for this type of thing. But there are so many countries around the world that don't have the access to the resources that we do. So think about how they are suffering, how the people that are suffering from mental health issues in those countries, like I can't even fathom it. It's got to be horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know,
So, would you say then that that first and foremost, the way to make bigger strides with this issue and bring more awareness to the problem is through conversation? Then is that the first and foremost the thing that needs to start? That will
I
start the ball rolling
absolutely,
more.
well, absolutely. Conversation is always at that forefront, but
Hmm.
I also think we need to understand what mental health is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
You know, there is a difference between mental illness and mental health because
Right.
they are different.
Yeah.
Mental health is about, our ability to manage our emotions, our stress, how we relate to each other, how we make choices, how we value ourselves, and being kind to ourselves. Like, I think, especially given COVID, I think people are just so hard on themselves.
Yeah.
And mental illness is connected really to more of like a distress or the inability to function through daily things that happen to us. And finding it hard to manage what you think, what you feel, that impacts how we behave.
Absolutely. Now, you must have seen some pretty crazy things over the course of your career, horrible treatment of kids, heartbreaking things. How do you compartmentalize that stuff so it doesn't go home with you and affect you outside of work?
This is such a great question. I think all your questions are really so great.
Thank you.
And I think I've learned, and I've had to work at this, to be really self-aware so that I don't prevent like emotional overload, because then I'm not good to anybody. Don't get me wrong. Some family stories are so heart-wrenching and can certainly impact me. Like, I'm human. I do cry.
Yeah, of course.
But I think where I'm lucky, and one of the greatest gifts that I have, is to be surrounded by an incredible, what I call my incredible support team.
Yeah.
That includes my loving family. I have a large extended Italian family with like 34 first cousins. I honestly, like, when I think about it, think about my cousins, like, it just brings a smile to my face. Like,
yeah.
I have extraordinary colleagues who would drop anything and everything to listen if I needed them. I'm lucky to have made lifelong friends from high school. And I'm still friends with them over 36 years.
That's amazing. Not many people can say they have that, right? I'm one and the same too. I have 3 friends in particular from high school, and we still talk and we still hang out. So
isn't it so great?
It is. It's amazing.
So lucky. And the other thing is, anybody who knows me knows that I love to dance. Yeah. I love to sing. And honestly, that saying, dance like nobody's watching. That's I do right. That thing. Like, I don't care if I'm embarrassing myself. I love to embarrass my kids.
Yes, that's always fun, embarrassing your kids.
I
love it. That. Yeah,
I create funny songs, which you can see on my Instagram. And I also have verbal diarrhea. So I love to talk. So that's where I kind of feel like that's how I help myself get through those.
I wonder, I grew up with a lot of European friends, and I noticed that in the European community, I think that Europeans have, like the old school Europeans, have a very hard time, as you mentioned, your parents, they have a very hard time accepting things like this, centered around mental health, and they don't want to talk about it. And do you find that, or is that just something that I'm...
Oh, no, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Like, you don't talk about it. You don't see it. You just move on, sweep it under the rug, as you were saying before, and just move on.
Yeah.
But I think that slowly that is changing.
Okay. I thought so. I wanted your opinion, you being European as well, from a European background. I just wanted to confirm that, because it is something that I noticed personally. But now, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and I think, just even educating ourselves around that,
yes.
like, and I don't mean from like watching TV shows.
No.
There's so much, even there was something that was recently aired, about a kid who was in distress, and she was trying to seek out people, and people pushed her away, and in movies, oftentimes mental health is portrayed as violent, like we were saying before, and accurate. And I'm, schools are a great first stepping stone, because your teachers are there, your principals, your guidance counselors, they're going to help you. Schools have implemented like mental health staff, which is a start,
and
the other place is connecting with your doctor. Like, so I think those are things that we need to teach each other about, and if somebody's reaching out to you who needs you, don't say, sorry, I have no clue, and leave them, but rather, say to them, I'm really not sure about this. but how about we look into it together? You might be that stepping stone for that person getting the help that they need, because feeling lonely and loneliness is awful.
Yes, for sure.
It could lead to suicide.
Yes, absolutely.
You know? Let's
Absolutely.
listen and be there for each other. We
Yeah.
need to talk openly about our feelings, especially in front of our kids. Like, this is so important. We're their role models. That's the most important job we're ever going to have. And I'm not saying that you have to be a parent. See, Brad, my verbal diarrhea? See, it's coming into play right here.
But you're right. I mean, for someone to feel alone and have to deal with something like this is just horrible. So if you can help, absolutely, of course, a support system is key.
Agreed. 100%. You know, we need to teach kids that we can build resilience. Just like we teach kids about hygiene and taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
Resilience can be taught.
Yeah.
You know, exploring feelings, it's okay. We need to learn kids don't come into the world knowing how to do this stuff.
No.
We got to teach them how to manage. You know, when I go into schools, this is always interesting for me. When I go into schools and I'm teaching kids and I ask them, is it okay to get mad? Brad, what do you think they say?
No.
That's right. They respond no, because they associate it with a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And it's actually not. It's okay to be mad. But what's not okay is punching and kicking and hitting someone.
That's right. That's right.
Even though it's tough and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is like, they made me so mad. They knocked down my Lego, or they took my pencil. You know, what can I do instead? You know, let's teach them.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Go punch your pillow. Give them an alternative. Run on the spot. Do jumping jacks.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay to say, I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. So it's part of emotion. It's what makes us up as human beings. Emotion is important.
Imagine, Brad, we talked today and you had said to me, you know, I did this photo shoot and someone didn't pay me.
Yeah.
And I said to you, oh, well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. I'd be pissed off.
Yeah. I'm never calling Carm again for support. By the way, I would never say that.
No, I know. But yeah, it would be frustrating. I wouldn't say I'd be pissed off, but I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's for sure. We have ranges of emotions. It's okay to go through them and experience them. You have to. You're human.
Yeah, but it's how I would connect with you and say to you, like, you know what, Brad, that's awful. I know how hard you work and how dedicated you are and the care that you put into each shoot.
Yeah.
You know, that would make you feel different, right? If I were
absolutely. Of course it would. Absolutely. Talking about it. Discussion is key for sure. As you mentioned earlier, discussion is the start of everything.
Absolutely. 100%.
Now, you're a mental health advocate and you sit on the waves of changes for the Autism Board. Can you tell us a bit about that and how you came to be a board member?
Sure. So Waves of Changes for Autism, it's a registered nonprofit organization, and it's been around since 2016.
Okay.
It was founded by Ellen Contardi. She and her vision really was to bring hope and financial relief to families. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it's only for families who live in Vaughan and who have children 13 and under. So it's really about supporting families financially. So really our purpose is to raise money. And to date, we have raised over $1 million.
That is incredible. Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
And it's pretty incredible. And 235 families have received support.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I came on board, really, it was just Ellen and I had met in like 2015. Mm-hmm. And she told me about this vision that she had. And because of my mental health background, she asked me, she says, I want you to be on this board. And I was like, absolutely. Like
that's a no-brainer, of course.
Yeah. I'm all about fundraising.
Yeah.
You know? And it is so hard because there's so limited access to, again, wait lists for children who have autism.
Yeah.
So that's that story about
that. Okay. What would you say is one of the hardest parts for you with the work you do?
Can I say my pay? No, it is, but I think again, lack of funding,
Yeah.
lists, reluctant families are so hard to work with, especially if they've been guided by the courts or children's aid.
Reluctant families? What do you mean?
So, if you have a family who's been deemed like they have children's aid involvement,
Yeah.
and children's aid has said you need to go and get this help, otherwise, you can't see your kids, or you can't get your kids back, or we can't work for, towards reunification.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really hard because they don't really want to do this extra work, but they want their kids, right? So that's always hard.
Yeah.
And some families who've experienced trauma and really have to look at what that trauma is. That's so hard,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think there's all this educational requirements that I need to do to keep my professional status. That's hard for me because I just want to do the work.
Yeah. Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight as to your character, who Carm is?
I think, the loss of my sister was huge. And I think that's also what led me maybe to this. No, it did. It did lead me to this work because I saw so many loving, supportive people help my parents, like public health and different hospitals that were around at the time. Like the services look very different now, but receiving that care until she passed, really, I saw what they were doing and what they were providing. That helped me, I think, to be so empathetic towards families. The other thing was I was bullied at school, which was horrible,
Yeah.
It really taught me to navigate difficult situations, and to problem solve, which, the other thing I think of is, in grade 10, I had this guidance counselor who was awful.
Yeah.
She told me basically I would never amount to anything.
What the hell kind of guidance counselor is that?
She and what she was basing it on. So let me give you a little bit of background. She based this on, when I was in elementary school, we had these things called dot tests. So I don't know if anybody was old enough to remember these dot tests. Basically what they were was educational aptitude tests. Well, hello. How do you think I would have scored? I was being bullied. I was afraid of, I had anxiety around this. So here's this test in front of me, that had really no reflection on my actual ability. But because I was being bullied and had this major anxiety, I wasn't able to focus. So I was just circling anything. And I remember this vividly. Had she taken the time to really understand me and know why those scores were the way they were, she wouldn't just have dismissed me. She scarred me. Like, honestly, I cried for days thinking about, oh my God, I'm so dumb. I'm really dumb. But thankfully, I had this best friend with me who was in that meeting with me, who witnessed that interaction. She was my greatest support at that time. She actually reminded me that if I was so dumb, how could I get 100% in Italian, 100% in French, 90 in English?
There you go.
I love languages. Not so much in math. Not that I failed, but not so much in math. But I would actually love to find this teacher right now and just share with her the impact she had. But I would actually say to her that she pushed me. She pushed me to reach and to become, because I think I am successful. And it doesn't mean you have to be this academic Einstein,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes all you need is that push. But again, this goes back to support systems, how key they are and how important and integral they are. Everybody needs them.
Yes, absolutely. Even if it's just one person.
Yep, for sure. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Oh my gosh. I think being creative, singing,
Dancing.
Dancing.
Like no one's watching.
That's right. Like I was so brave. I did something that scared me. I joined last year, not last year. When did I join? 2018. I joined a musical theater group, and I love it.
That's awesome. Good for you.
I get to, it's my own, dream of being on Broadway. So Little Broadway.
That's amazing. Good for you.
I love traveling. I love learning. I love writing. I love connecting with people. My friends, being around people that are so thoughtful and caring and really true to their authentic self. I think that for me is what inspires me.
Excellent. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
I think really you determine your journey.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid to share my thoughts, and then I found my voice as you get older, you kind of go through these, in your teens, you're just like, who am I? In your 20s, You're still, who is this
figuring
person?
It out. Yeah.
Yeah. Then in your 30s, you start to gain some confidence. In your 40s, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I got this. And in your 50s, you're just like, yeah, this is who I am. If you like it, great. If you don't, too bad.
Yeah.
And so I think when I found my voice, here I am. Now I can't shut up. I was afraid to share my opinions, my ideas, thinking, what if they're dumb? What if they're not worthy for airtime? Well, I found that voice, and now I speak and share, even if it doesn't sound so right, because it's okay. I'm not perfect. And
not everybody's going to like what you say anyways. It doesn't matter. You can't please everyone all the time.
And I always tell kids this, practice makes better. Because who is perfect?
Nobody. There's no such thing as perfect. Exactly. It doesn't exist.
So practice makes better. So that's what I say to myself.
I like that saying, actually. That's good. That's very good. Better. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
Oh, this is so easy. I had gone on a job interview to become a manager of a program. Mm-hmm. And that executive director, and I haven't seen her in a while, but if I do, I've got to thank her because you brought this up for me. So in our interview, she said, I really want to give you this job, but first, I want you to think about something. So she asked me, how old are your kids? And at the time, my daughter was 7 and my son was 3.5. Mm-hmm. And that particular job entailed a lot of traveling.
Okay.
So she said, I want you to think about how much time you'll be away from your children. And she said, take it from me. You want to enjoy those moments because they grow so fast.
That they do. What?
She was right. She was so right. I didn't take the job because she made me think about this. And now my kids are 18 and 21 and they're busy with their lives, like school, work, boyfriends, friends. Yeah. I'm so glad I listened to her. Because
that's amazing, because most employers wouldn't do that. They wouldn't give a shit.
They wouldn't. But I'm so grateful that she said that to me.
Yeah.
She said, take the time, be with your kids, because jobs will come and go. And she was right.
That's amazing. So unheard of. That's great. Yeah. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
For me, it has everything to do with happiness. Surrounding myself with great people who inspire me and who love me for just being me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How would you like to be remembered?
I think I want people to remember how I made them feel. That they were important to me and that I love them. I tell my close friends and family, ad nauseum, I love you. I love you. I love you. And can you believe, like, I have some people who tell me, stop telling people you love them. It loses the value. How ridiculous is that?
I don't think you can ever hear that enough, to be honest.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care how many times I say it. I need people to know that they're special to me and they have meaning to me. And that
you don't ever want them to feel that you don't, or that they're unloved.
Yeah. So I want to be remembered for how I made people, how I made them feel.
Beautiful. What would you say you're most proud of?
Oh gosh, there's a few things. Like I'm proud of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of my husband. I'm proud of the work that I do. Um, I'm proud of how I make people feel.
Yeah. If you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question in life, what would you ask?
Oh my gosh, this was tough. But I think I came down to like my question that I would ask is, will there be peace on earth free of violence and hate?
I love it. That's a great question.
Yeah.
What is the one common myth about your profession that you want to debunk?
Oh, this is that people don't get better.
Mm.
People do get better.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
This was hard. This was hard. Like love, energetic. Like I couldn't think of just
so many words.
Yeah.
What makes you smile?
My family, my kids, my cousin, sunshine.
Yeah. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Empowerment to me means being confident, brave, taking charge of what you want and making it happen.
Love that.
Yeah.
What is your personal motto?
Oh, this was easy. Don't let anybody bring you down. Just go for it.
I love that. That's inspiring.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
It's okay if it falls apart. It's a learning experience.
But at least you try. At least you tried. And
That's
if
right.
it didn't work, try it a different way. Try something else, but don't give up.
That's right. And ask for help if you need it.
That's it. That's a huge thing, I think, that so many people have problems with.
It's true. Like, I don't know why we feel like we have to do things on our own.
We don't. The help is there. All you have to do is open your mouth and ask.
Yeah, exactly.
What gives you the motivation to keep going?
I think the passion for my work. Like, I can be creative. I create programs that really help kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps me going, is the passion.
What would you say is the most recent investment you've made in yourself?
I started doing yoga. So
beautiful.
I need to really learn to slow down. I started doing yoga.
That's good though. You need to, it all starts with self-love. You have to do things for you. Otherwise you burn out. You're no good to anybody else. You're no good to your family. You're no good to the kids in your job that you work with. Nothing. You have to take care of yourself. That should be first and foremost. It's not selfish. It's self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you, Brad, I know this is interviewing me, but I want to ask you that same question. What have you done for yourself?
Honestly, nothing. This podcast is what I do for myself. I love this. This lights me up, speaking to women like yourself and helping to get your stories out there. That's what I've done for myself.
That's awesome. But you got to do one other thing just for yourself too. See, this is the therapist in me coming out.
You're flipping the script on me here.
You got to do one thing for yourself.
All right. I will think about that and do it. Okay. I'll check back in with you on that one. If you could set up a billboard anywhere, where would you put it and what would it say?
Okay, so does it have to be a billboard? Like, I want it to be on a plane with the banners. Can it be that?
Sure, we can do that. That's fine. I asked someone else this question and they said writing in the sky, or projecting into the sky. So
I want those planes with those banners attached to it, flying everywhere, saying, "You've got this."
Yep.
You've got this.
I love it. It's so simple. You got this. That's it. 3 words.
Yeah.
Would you rather be able to dance like Michael Jackson or sing like Freddie Mercury?
This is so hard because I love them both.
You can only pick one.
I know this is hard, but I think I might have to go with Freddie.
Yeah.
Because of his range, his ability to engage with people, like it
Yeah.
was incredible, you know?
He was an over-the-top guy, just so out there and just, incredible talent, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not to take anything away from Michael Jackson.
No,
He was
Michael
incredibly
Jackson.
talented too,
Oh my
but
God.
just on I don't know. They're both on different levels.
They are.
What's your favorite stress-reducing activity?
I love to laugh. I love
That's
to
a
laugh.
good one. I like that.
Yeah. Being with friends and then no judging me. So please don't judge me.
Yeah.
I love watching Real Housewives of anything.
All right. Well, I actually had a woman on here interviewed who was on that Housewives of Toronto.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
I
Amazing
know them
lady.
all.
Amazing.
I love watching them all.
If you came with a warning label, what would yours say?
I think it would say, caution, high voltage, positive energy.
Awesome. If you could teach the world one thing, what would that be?
I want to break out into song right now. I'd like to teach the world to sing.
I remember that jingle from the Coca-Cola commercials.
Yeah. So I think I want to teach the world just to be silly. Like, don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
Like, like
Life's too short for that.
Yeah.
We got to have fun while we're here. We're here for a short time, not a long time. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So why not enjoy the time you spend here?
Exactly.
Laugh, love, dance freely as you want.
Exactly. It's so good for your mental health, honestly.
For sure.
Even if you're feeling sad and you just smile, it changes just a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would that song be?
It would be Let's Get Loud by Jennifer Lopez. Turn up the music, hear that sound, just let's get loud.
Okay.
Ain't nobody, I'm going to break out into song again. Let's get loud. Let's get loud.
If you could sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
I think it would have to be Jesus.
Okay.
I would want to know, how did he maintain positivity while enduring all this trauma? How was he able to be kind to everybody? Like, never judging, he just loved. What's that secret?
Okay. Lastly, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
It would be, I think I've said this already, but be your authentic self. Have fun. Be silly. Do something that freaks you out.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Carm, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your story and your journey and giving us a peek into your world and what you do for a living and how you're helping kids and people and families. And I appreciate you. And I think it's amazing work that you're doing, and it's necessary. And I think it's wonderful that you've dedicated your life to helping kids and the families. I truly appreciate you taking the time to be here and share today. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you. You made me laugh. It's been a fun interview.
At least I didn't make you cry, so that's
No,
good.
you didn't. You made me laugh, though. That's for sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Brad. This was such an incredible opportunity, for me. And I really appreciate all that you're doing for women and, empowering us and giving us this space. It's really, really incredible. Kudos to you. Amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words, and I love what I do. So it's my pleasure to provide the platform. And like I said, you women do all the heavy lifting here by sharing your stories. So I thank each and every one of you for being part of the community and sharing your stories.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brad.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest was Carm Viola. She is a registered psychotherapist and a registered early childhood educator based right here in Toronto. Thank you, Carm. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
You too. Be well.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.